That happened with the mics off, so everyone's faces.
That's adorable. Oh my gosh.
Happy anniversary.
So
Happy anniversary
to us. Their song.
happy anniversary, but no, Sean.
Did DCM 8 at the beginning of the stream.
All right, we're actually going to get right into it today without introductions, without questions, without anything, because
We're
when last we left off, the party was up against. Ooh, wait, let me make sure my windows are correct.
But how will I know who I am?
Your
you
Vox.
you won't, but you
Oh,
got to make sure you
great,
nail it,
great.
because everyone
Hey,
else will.
I'm parent, guys.
With the
Hey,
overlay.
how's it going?
Maybe we
Hi
should
there,
session
I'm
sometime where
Atticus.
I'm
we all played
Atticus.
a different character, like one of
Body
each
swap
other's
character.
characters.
A body swap episode.
The Freaky
Um,
Friday episode.
But you'll all have to figure it out. Whoever I've put the overlay on, you'll just have to figure out based on how I treat you throughout the course who you actually are. When last we left the party, you were caught in maybe not an unexpected, but kind of a negotiation deal that at the last minute turned sour and left you in a combat with Mira the Fang. But with a pretty spectacular surprise round that included Atticus shoving an orb containing the energy of not an exploding sun that would have vaporized the town, but exploding sunlight, shoved it down her mouth and did a significant amount of damage to the vampire. What are we calling her? Not a henchman. The assistant to the fawn. And we're gonna pick up.
Collaborator.
Yeah, a collaborator.
Middle manager.
We're gonna pick up right where we left off with that. So we're picking up at the top of the initiative order now that the surprise round is over. You are all in the room staring down Mira, who at this point, due to the damage that she's taken from the sunlight, is, exposed skull, skin, flesh just sort of withered on the left side of her body. In the small room towards the back at the House of the Five Tongues. And at the top of the initiative order, Vox, that's you.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was me.
Yeah,
Oh
you
my
had
gosh,
a
how'd you-
19 on initiative, I think. Or I think a 19 and then Baron had a 17.
Nice. How is Mira looking? Not great?
Not great. I mean, more than bloodied, at least.
Okay. And during my last hit with Brightburn, was there any reaction to her blood that he might have had? Because we've kind of spoken about him being able to taste it.
Yeah, the unsettling thought of every time you plunge Brightburn into someone and getting a little taste of their blood, you you kind of, after you withdraw Brightburn, you get a little bit of that feedback. He's a bit, how you say, spice. There is some spice to this. I'm not sure I'm too into it, but if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, we're
Give me
gonna
another
need
go.
to do it. Absolutely.
Fantastic,
Absolutely. We're gonna
fantastic.
do
Well,
that.
I shall cleanse my palate and see what I find this time.
Sorry for the rot. And I'm going to try to hit her again. Where's my d20s? I'm using new-ish dice and still getting accustomed to them. Oh, that was not great. Not great at all. But hold on. I think I am still blessed
You
until
also-
the next day. And I have
I think you got
barbaric.
Bardic Inspiration.
You did
Yeah,
also
okay.
have Bardic Inspiration. So you've got a
I'm
D6 and
going-
a D4 you can throw on that.
Yeah, let's see. This is blue. Okay, hold on. This is not great. 3, 9, 10, 11, 12. Does a 15 hit?
Ooh, let me look. A 15 does not hit.
Oh, motherfucker. But yeah, she slips. She's kind of laughing a little bit at Brightburn's reaction to the blood.
Yeah, I think Mira steps to the side real quick too, dodges the blow. Do you have anything else you want to do?
Yeah, I have a second attack that I can
Cool.
do with my dagger.
Yep.
Please. Okay, that's a 20 to hit with the dagger.
Oh, 20 hits.
Beautiful. Dirty 20, but still a 20. And that is 1d4 plus 2. That is 6. 6 damage with the dagger.
Cool. Okay. She dodges to the side and you flick that dagger on it, slashes across. She bares fangs at you. Box, if that's it for you, it's going to be Perrin's turn.
That is it.
Sorry, I was trying to internally decide what Perrin would believe about a vampire based on his knowledge about vampire. Okay, Perrin is 10 or 12 feet back or something like that. So I am going to have Perrin... Sorry, I couldn't tell if this was a full action or a bonus action. That's all. I'm reading. Yeah, Perrin is going to cross over to her, and he's going to grab a hold of her and make really close eye contact. And I'm going to cast Suggestion, and Perrin is going to say, "Stop fighting or you are going to die."
Okay. That's a wisdom save, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I'm going to guess that an 18 saves.
Well, a little bit.
You draw close and she looks back at you. Oh, but I cannot die.
You know what? Challenge accepted. And I'm going to use my extra attack. I'm going to punch her right in the face.
Well, I would say so attack, if you cast a spell once you've chosen.
Oh, yeah,
the
that's
course
right.
Of,
My bad.
Yep. So you can do a bonus. You could do a bonus I can't remember how we run if it's a second hand attack that we run with Ornament of Rights.
Yeah, I mean, technically I'm running like a weird 2-weapon hybrid system, which means that I can offhand and I don't get a bonus. It's just a flat roll. No dex bonus on the extra attack. That can be a bonus action. That point is just moot because now I have the separate level 5 extra attack, but I guess in this case it would count. I can use my bonus action for it.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to, go for it.
And probably Amos is going to do something. Okay, 17.
Okay. 17 just hits.
Is that a D6 for unarmed? What is it at in 5e? Proficiency strength?
For it would just, if you don't have like a brawler feat, and it's an unarmed attack, it's just 1 point of damage plus but because it's an offhand attack, in this case, it would just be 1.
Yep. And that's what I do. And Amos is going to cast... Man, well, I gotta update Amos. I need to get some new spells from you at some point for Amos.
I think we did. We talked about you've got sending now with the flavor of.
Oh, that's right.
It's basically, and then in addition to sending, in addition to sending, what was the other one?
Beacon of Hope.
Yes. Yep. That's what it was.
Spell, which I have never read. Yeah, I think Amos flies up high and lets out like a real loud bird song, and that bestows hope and vitality on the entire party. For the duration, each target has advantage on wisdom saving throws and death saving throws, and regains the maximum number of hit points possible from any healing. So from now on, any healing moves, you get max possible value, and everybody's got advantage on death saving and wisdom saving. 10 rounds.
Yeah, but it is concentration, correct?
Yeah, Amos won't be able to give me advantage for the rest.
Cool. Yep. Okay. Perrin, that's it for you at the end of your turn. That is Bert. Bert's coming in. Damn. Bert gives a little flourish. Now listen here, lady, and comes sliding in, which rolls a nat 1 and just sort of like goes to and just sort of stabs the green tongue into the ground and then kind of gets it stuck and is pulling on the sword.
Bert, you dumb bitch.
Well, I tried.
Try better.
Damn.
Pay for effort. Pay for effort, bud.
As you say this,
This
Bert,
is
on a
as
nat
Amos
one.
is whistling out hope and vitality to everyone.
Yeah. That is Mira's turn. Going to.
She's still being grappled by Atticus. From Atticus's bonus action, or did they release when the thing exploded?
Or I got thrown back, like
Yeah, not being
for
grappled.
yeah,
Okay.
but I'm like right up on her
Yeah.
still.
I think directly next to her now would be you, Perrin, Bert, Vox is within distance, and then also Atticus is right there.
Atticus.
I think
Hey,
as soon as Atticus right now technically is prone, but would sort of be the one that's opposite from Vox or Vox is. So as soon as Atticus isn't prone anymore, that's going to give you flanking for both Vox and Atticus. So you're both going to have advantage. And it's just half your movement to get up from prone. On Mira's turn, however, she's going to... Perrin, I'm guessing that a 13 does not hit.
Nope.
Okay.
Also, I was gonna say she has disadvantage because I'm holding protection from evil and good on Perrin.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Let's see if that gives her. I mean, it wouldn't. She definitely missed.
Yeah.
On that one.
That one is always helpful though.
Yes, it is. She's going to. She snaps at you, Perrin. You're able to back out of the way.
That holds through. When does that drop off? Is that concentration only? Like I can be
Concentration 10
aggressive.
minutes.
Awesome.
On a natural 19, however, as she snaps at you, Perrin, and you dodge out of the way, she looks down, sees the small toad knight beneath her, and lunges down. That is... Wait, that's... One more second.
Can the cat use its reactions anytime or only on my turn?
Reactions can happen anytime.
As she's lunging for Bert, can I send Cat to use cunning movement and try to trip her up?
Yeah, did we say that does it give advantage on attack, or does she what did we say for the ruling on that?
Well, so familiar aid is
Yeah.
advantage, but the cat has another one called cunning movement, where they can use the reaction to attempt to trip the enemy.
Let me look
The
at
enemy must make a dexterity save, DC 15, or be knocked prone.
Okay. Okay, here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that, I mean, if Mira gets knocked prone, that's going to put disadvantage on the attack, which means I'm going to have to roll a second attack to see if it did indeed hit. But I will do the dex save first as the cat. It's just before I narrate anything. She got a 16 on the dex save. What's the DC?
It was 15.
15. The cat sees Bert, shoots between Mira's legs. She just one shoots out as she continues to go down. You see her just the fangs go right into Bert's neck. God damn! As Bert sort of staggers back holding the sword. That's a lot of damage on Bert. I think you see as she rises back up from that, takes a deep breath, and some of that withered flesh on the side of her neck just starts to ease its way back up. Skull still exposed, but the muscle and the tissue surrounding it begin to grow back up.
Wait a second. That's not fair.
What else can she do? There's not a lot else that she can. She's going to take a bonus action disengage, and she's going to leap at this point straight up onto the ceiling, which is about 12 feet above you all. And as she leaps, you sort of just see her go to flip upside down, just to make sure I'm going to make a little acrobatics check for her because I feel like that's fair. Just make sure she doesn't really be... Yeah, on a nat 20, this looks cool. But she goes to... And about halfway through the air, almost as if gravity rears, you just see her legs flip up, and she lands crouched on the ceiling looking down at all of you.
Is it too late to join your side?
Far too late, I'm afraid. With her leaping, Benath was leaping to grapple her. Would have been in, but now she's up on the ceiling. Benath is just going to make an athletics check to try and jump and tackle her off the ceiling. That's pretty good. The 27 is going to do it over her acrobatics. She does something that's really cool, and then to counter that, you just see the half orc like crouch down, jump up, and just like both arms kind of around her midsection, just shoulders into her and brings her crashing down to the floor. And actually crosses his arms, rolls over, and has her pinned and exposed. Fauna, that's your turn. You will have advantage on any attack against her, just because she is prone and pinned right now.
But Benath's also like right there, right? So anything with like radiant damage would probably hit
It would definitely
them as well.
It would hit Benath, it would hit Bert, it would hit Vox, Atticus, and Perrin. Unless it specifically just had a 5 foot. If it just has a 5 foot radius, it's only going to hit Benath and Mira.
Okay. I think Fauna's changing her strategy really fast because she was going to use something, but she doesn't want to hurt Benath. So I think she's just going to go for Firebolt, but just try to aim right at Mira's face hole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me an attack roll with an advantage.
$18.
18 hits.
All right, that's 12 points of damage.
Ace, your firebolt is so much better now.
And then as my bonus action, I want to cast Healing Word on Bert.
Cool. What do you roll for that? Because Bert's just gonna get the maximum amount thanks to Beacon of Hope.
Yeah, it says regains hit points equal to 1d4 plus 5.
Cool. So 9.
What's the word?
Yeah.
Shh, call him a bitch again.
It's secret. It's a secret word.
Is it a word that only Bert hears?
Yeah.
You all see a little
It's like
smile.
a whisper,
Yeah.
but then it just goes into Bert's ear.
You all see a little smile on Bert's face as the 2 wounds just kind of cauterize and start to gloss over. And Bert is going to look over at you and give a nod, Fauna.
Fauna's gonna give him a thumbs up.
You're a really weird amphibian.
I will say at the end of your turn, Fauna, Mira is going to take one of her legendary actions to attempt to reverse this grapple. And you see, let's grapple reversed. You see as she's lying on the ground, Vanath has just his arms locked in front of her. She just kind of slips a shoulder down, and as she gives it a tug, you hear a little crack as she just dislocates her own shoulder to sort of spin around further than she should be able to. And the fangs just go right into Nath. Okay. Banath doesn't make a sound, but she lands those fangs in, and you just see, again, as she takes a drink, that flesh continues to still exposed, still bloodied, but I don't think anyone needs to make a check to see what is going on right now. Atticus, that's going to be your turn.
Cool. 2 things. How are the vampire? If I were to swing on the vampire's legs, would I hit the orc as well, or can I?
Oh, you can make a swing. No, you can make a swing on.
Cool.
You're still going to get advantage too, because she didn't when she reversed that grapple, she used her full legendary action to make 2 attacks. So she's still prone. So you've got advantage on attacks still.
And I'm gonna glance out the window real quick. Is it still middle of night? Dark. Okay. Cool. Atticus is gonna go. He wants to chop those legs off. So Atticus is going for that. First roll of the night, baby. A nat 20, baby.
You walked into the wrong room.
Yeah, that's a nat 20.
I can only blame myself for buying you those dice. Also.
Yeah, I'm using the Atticus dice as well.
Yeah.
I'm not using the other ones. All right. Okay. I rolled a 1 on my damage, but great weapons handling. I get to re-roll that once.
Cool.
$15, 17, 19, 27 on that swing.
Whew. God. All right. You go to. You don't go through the legs, but you go all the way to the bone and then some on the legs as you just goes right in. And Mira whips her head around to look at you. Okay.
Cool. As she's looking, I'm going to use my second attack on her.
Yeah.
And try and go for those again. That is a 24.
24 hits.
Cool. Five, 11. That is a 16 on the second one.
Okay. Not looking too good. Yeah, I think the left leg, you see you fully go through the bone, and there's just some muscle and tissue like in the back that's left that leg on. She's not looking great. Do you have anything you're doing with a bonus action?
Yeah, I am going to use second wind.
Okay, cool.
To get I just get my full HP back, correct?
Second wind, you get your fighter level plus 1d10, but because of Beacon of Hope, you just get 10 plus your fighter level. It's an automatic maximum roll.
Okay, 17 back. So that is going to be 68 total HP.
All right. Atticus looking a lot better. All right. Oh, what do I want to do with this? God, 29 left. That's bad. Nyx, it's gonna be your turn, and right now I'm gonna roll. I haven't rolled the perception from here, but I know you got a 19 on your stealth last time to hide. Yeah. Mira doesn't see where you are. So you'd already have advantage anyway because she's prone, but you are hidden from her. Yeah.
Yeah. Nyx is gonna cast a guiding bolt on her. And because she's still grappled, she just automatically fails her. Wait, no, I'm thinking of something else.
She's not grappled
do my
anymore.
attack roll first.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And do I have advantage on that?
You do have advantage on the attack roll. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Where's my so 20 dirty 20.
20 hits.
Okay. For flavor text, I'm gonna say it looks like moonlight, but it is radiant damage.
Cool.
And let's see. There's my rolls here. Okay, wow. Calculator. Nice. All right. Yes, 19 radiant damage, and then I'm going to quicken meta magic and draw down Sacred Flame on her.
Okay. Is it Constitution save or a Wisdom save?
Dex save.
Dex save.
I believe she has. Wait, let me see. Okay, next attack has advantage on her, but she doesn't have disadvantage. If that makes sense.
Yeah, let me look. I want to look real quick too to see if you have. I can't remember if you have disadvantage on a dex save when you're prone. I don't think you do. Yeah, it doesn't.
I think you just automatically fail it, right?
No, not when you're prone. There's not even disadvantage on it. If she was currently grappled, I think she would have disadvantage, or maybe, but she's not grappled right now. She escaped the grapple from Benath. It's 24 on the dex save.
Yep, she passes that one.
But she is the damage before that. What you said? Did you say 19?
19 radiant.
Radiant. Okay. She looks very bad. I'm going to write down her hit points right now on the back of this piece of paper.
Then mail it to yourself.
And then mail it to myself.
That way, no, you're not
To
telling
remind
a lie.
myself that a surprise
You're a great
round,
deal.
a surprise round will absolutely annihilate even someone with this many hit points. Okay. Okay, Nyx, that's you. At the end of your turn, Mira is going to use another legendary action.
You know Elijah's scared when 2 legendary actions are used in one round.
Well, it's so yeah. Mira gets 3 around, but I will say this is her second one, and there's still some people. There's like 5 more people in queue before she gets another turn, and those get a refresher. She's looking real bad. Nyx, you hit her with what looks to be moonlight, but you just see it sear into the flesh on the side that is not a skull. And as it begins to burn away, she's going to use part of the movement of her legendary action to she pushes herself just sort of straight up from where she was on the floor with Benath. Enough! And is going to hold out her hands. As this happens, I need all of you to make a Constitution save.
Is she casting a spell right now?
Is she turning into a bat?
She is casting a spell right now.
Yes.
Well, as a mage slayer, I can make an attack to a reaction
I'm gonna
as a
kill
reaction
that
since I am so close.
fuck her up.
Get her.
So I'm going to do that.
Okay.
What kind of
Does
saving
a
throw was it? Thank you.
does a 17 hit?
A 17 just hits.
has advantage. It's the next attack too.
Oh yeah, the next attack would have advantage. So roll again, just I guess to see if you crit.
And that 20.
Haha, 19, natural 19,
Which is a crit.
which is a crit
Which is
for me.
for you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I as a fighter, I have that.
Oh my god.
Oh boy, oh boy.
The dice
Yeah.
is removing the synergy from last session.
15, 20, 24. That will be 32 points of damage.
Oh no.
Can y'all, it's gonna be kind of hard. It's a little ghostly little number there, but can y'all see that
10.
R.I.P.
Atticus, she leaps up, says, "Enough!" You see her reach out to, I think all of you begin to feel your hearts quicken as something in them your blood starts to pump faster. And as she opens her mouth and begins to inhale,
I say,
yeah,
I agree.
Atticus, tell me what, yeah.
Atticus,
tell me what you
when
do.
she says enough, Atticus says, I agree, and is going to just try and cleave them right through the middle. I do want to throw this out there since Atticus does have knowledge of it. If you got any type of radial damage, do it now to seal her away.
Any type of what?
Like
Radiant-
holy radial
radiant, yeah.
damage, radiant,
Radiant or
Yeah.
sunlight.
Radiant?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that the
next
attack
roll-
hits.
Does it?
Is she
it-
just
does it
like laying
automatically
on the
go through?
ground?
So as you fully go straight through, are you going like bifurcate, like straight up and down?
Yeah, I'm doing like the Trunks from Dragon Ball Z, like
Nice.
chopping
You-
Frieza up.
The sword just no resistance, just crown to floor, goes through. You all hear the sound. You see her look there. The side with the skull just starts to slide down a little bit.
Oh.
And the body, there's no, she has no time to cry out, no time, but the body, you see, goes almost into this mist form and
Sacred
just
flame.
kind of starts to disperse. Well, we will still be in initiative order for mist form. I need to see this is very important. I need to see what her movement speed is in this.
Mist form is where she just plays mist while we're busy doing other things.
Tries to find-
She's just solving puzzles.
I'm gonna go home and solve puzzles then.
Fine, I didn't want to be with you anyway.
Turns into that mist. It's even. God, that was her. So even using. Well, she doesn't even have. She already used half her movement action. So she has. And she went to cast that spell reaction to it.
It wasn't even her turn, right?
Yeah, she doesn't.
So she
even
doesn't
have
even
any movement.
get addition.
So it is.
She's just a still mist.
I think on Theon's turn, he's going to look back at all of you. Sunlight! He just barks. He's holding his action basically to give help or advantage to anyone who is going to use some form of radiant damage on that mist.
There's no running water in this inn, I'm guessing.
But
correct?
we're still in initiative
We're
order
still
right
in
now?
initiative order. That's Theon's turn. It's now back to the top of the initiative order, and it's Vox.
Hold on. I have to see if I have some weird trinket that I have been
Forgetting about.
hold on.
Just
that
throw
I've fully
everything
forgotten
in your
about, too.
pockets at her.
Yeah, hold on.
Aaron's got to have something in his pocket.
Oh, I've got
Got
something ready.
Because
to
that's fire. I gotta.
I also have something, but I think my turn is like 4 turns away.
I will say this. I would let you for free right now, Vox, make a perception check to kind of get some information about this situation that might be helpful.
Okay. It was a 15.
I think on the 15, with the like knowledge that you all came to get about vampires too, knowing what Atticus knew and that being shared around. On the 15, you are pretty confident in this mist. Mira's not in a position to attack anyone, and in this mist form actually literally can't attack, can't access magic. This is a last resort to make it to her abode so that she can heal and regenerate. While the mist form is intangible and you couldn't physically block, just in case that sunlight brings her out of the mist form, because once brought out of the mist form, essentially 0 HP, but there does have to be kind of like a finishing blow, essentially, once brought out of that mist form with sunlight. But you could step through to be there at the door just in case.
Yeah. Vox is just gonna move to block and then hold action kind of next to her uncle.
Okay.
Is there like a jar or something we can grab
someone
and fill her in?
Burn this bitch.
Everybody,
So make it mine.
I will say, Atticus, you would know because of your check on vampire lore, a container, like basically a watertight container would work if you can get all the mist in it. It's not going to, then you hold that. Yeah, it would work to hold her until you could find access to sun. The mist can't move super fast. It can fly. So things like, the open balcony, like those all sort of become a danger of her escaping, getting out of reach.
It's daytime, right?
Nighttime.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Perrin You know what? I'm just gonna say that Perrin believes something might work, and then you're gonna have to decide if it works. With my action, Perrin uses gust to blow. I mean, presumably this mist doesn't weigh more than 5 pounds, right?
Ooh, yeah. Are you using gust?
He's using gust to blow this into a compact ball. He wants to blow on every side to push it together with his action. And with my bonus action, Perrin is gonna piss on her.
Do you think that counts as running water? Is that why you're?
I feel
All
like
right.
this is fully justified for Perrin to do.
Here's what I'm saying.
Not because she's a vampire, but because this is just like something Perrin has done before.
What, pee on his enemies?
He's breaking her spirit. He's breaking her with
So here's what
endless.
I think in mist form. It says moves any. Let me look up the wording of gust real quick, because the thing that needs checking here is unfortunately not even the piss, it's the gust. So I'm gonna look up the ruling on gust.
I mean, the
real
piss is
quick.
gonna hit her anyway. I just wanted it to hit in
And-
a particularly contained way.
Okay. Succeed on a strength save. Okay. So here's what I'm going to say before we determine anything else. In order for Gus to push like that, she does get to make a strength saving throw, being a medium or smaller creature. When in mist form, she gets advantage on strength saving throws. And I will tell you that she gets a +4 to this roll. So I'm going to roll twice. I tell you what her total is. I'm guessing that's going to do it. One of those was a 4 and then a natural 19, so a total of 23.
Do you want me to roll for piss though?
I mean, she's not contained in a tidy sphere. If you still want to go through with this, then I absolutely do. And I guess in this case, to determine if it's running water or not,
Perrin has not been drinking alcohol.
Yeah,
or eating food.
You haven't been
He has
drinking
only
alcohol.
been drinking water.
I want you to make me a wisdom check to see how much water you've been remembering to drink. We're going to say a 12 or higher is what we're looking for.
Is this a wisdom saving throw or a wisdom check?
Just to base, this is not a saving throw. This is just a wisdom check to see if you've been drinking enough water.
Roll for piss is our new merch line.
That's a 21.
All right. A well-hydrated Perrin just fully begins to you see the mist sort of goes to move around. I think is going to use the last of the legendary actions before her turn to just sort of, as the stream comes out, the mist sort of billows out to escape from it. Let me ask this though. Just a serious question in the midst of the piss. Where are you creating this? Are you creating it in such a way that it would send her sort of towards the door, or in a way that would like leave her free to sort of head for the balcony?
No, I think I'm on the balcony side. I think that's what I described last time when I was still pretending, is I walked all the way around to the balcony.
Yeah.
And then Atticus is on the door side.
Yeah. All right, so you're sending her in the direction of, I think we said Vox is over there, Theon's over there, ready to give the help action. Atticus is kind of over, but that is the direction I think, though, is going to use the legendary action to fully dash, which gives she's not going to escape the room in mist form, because it's only 40 feet, and we already established the room's a little bigger than that. It took Benath a dash to get across it.
When I cut her in half, did that ball, Fauna's ball, drop to the ground?
Yeah. Yep.
Can I look at it and see if there's any retained light in that?
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, go ahead and make a perception check.
I assumed it might have. I assume it may capture some when it releases still, but not a lot.
I didn't
Also-
even try to make the argument that parents' piss is holy water because of his
You
In the
said
background, what
you
we
said
haven't
perception?
seen.
background.
15.
15.
just-
There's no light. The orb just is almost black now.
Mhm.
Not holding any light.
Okay.
Honestly looks quite a lot like the orb that you were sent to get, except that in this case, this one seems to have some kind of depth to it. You know, you can almost see into it.
Okay.
Oh, I was just gonna. I like to imagine that Fauna in the background of all these sessions has just been feeding Perrin water as like a daughter figure caring for her drunkard father.
For
just
sure.
like
Hydrate.
here. That's
I mean, it crystal clear. It's an excellent job on hydration.
Atticus looks at Perrin, knowing that they're out of line, but gives like a knowing, like a hey, good for you, good for you. Like,
Is that what a knight would do?
compliment someone on their feet, but yes, piss
No,
on
I mean-
something. No.
Yeah.
Whopper-
choir
whop-
mentality.
pissration.
Yeah. I like the creativity though.
Bert's gonna look up at you. It's kind of reaching. Is going to sort of. Bert's using his turn is just sort of trying to jump up and grab handfuls of mist. Not very successful. Bert really doesn't know what else to do. Is gonna kind of like look over at Atticus helpfully. I'm trying.
I'm gonna hand him my empty potion jar.
Yeah, I think Bert could, as a read, just take the and is going to start. Wow, let's see how much of this we'll make a little. We'll call this a dexterity-based attack roll. It's pretty good. Pretty good. He fills up the potion jar. Still a lot of mist left, but he fills up the potion jar, corks it. I got some. That is Bert's turn. Mira is all out of legendary actions, but it is her turn again.
Would Bert have had advantage on catching little tiny things because he used to just eat like gnats and bugs and stuff like that?
All right. You know what? It's not any higher. No crit. But he is. I mean, potion bottle's full. I will say this before Mira takes her turn. Vox, you're the closest to the door. As you kind of feel Mira's mist form goes around you, the last few little bits filter through your hair. You don't hear her, you just feel this. I'll make an insight check real quick too. Don't tell me the
What
perception.
happens
Just make
if you inhale her? Is that bad or?
If she reconstituted, it wouldn't be great.
Insight was a 19.
On the 19, you feel rage. And you feel a deep sadness and despair. And on the 19, real fear. She's terrified. But she's not terrified for herself. It feels almost motherly. What was the perception check?
Oh, I didn't make a perception too.
Yeah, make me a perception check.
The perception's 15.
On a 15, at the far end, you're not out, you can't see in the hallway. You're standing back to the door, facing as the mist went past you. You hear at the far end of the hall, "Oh, back with the wand now." And you just hear this slamming sound as what sounds like a body just gets tossed against the wall. Slams, slides down. The rest of you, Vox, you're facing this way, and you hear chum, chum, the sound of heavily armored steps as they echo down the hallway. The rest of you who are facing towards the door see almost this beam of light come cutting down the hallway.
No.
You see it catches the mist in mid-retreat. Mira, for a moment, materializes. No. And you all see an enormous sword swing into view against the head. Gone. Not even decapitated. The head is gone. Just against the far wall.
Just blood mist.
And as the sword is retracted, stepping into full view of everyone looking out the door, you see in this armor at least 8 feet, shining from every facet.
Oh, no.
In the dim moonlight that shines in the window, refracted light, and a prism-like helmet that no one can really quite catch their reflection in as the mirrored knight steps into the doorway.
Fuck.
And wordlessly takes a step, doesn't move any action to attack, but just steps into the doorway of the room. We are out of initiative order for the moment. What is everyone
Atticus?
Perrin is still in disguise as the spurned merchant. Yep. And he's immediately going to say, "All right, are you going to pay me my refund then?" And he's going to attempt to convince the mirrored knight that this is all a big misunderstanding.
Unless somebody stops them, Nyx, upon seeing the mirrored knight, just gives out a scream of rage and is going to attack.
Atticus steps in front of everybody. And kind of just looks at Nyx and just kind of like is like, "Hey, like, I'll take point on this." And if she's still trying to attack, Atticus is going to contest her strength to stop her from attacking.
Atticus, move now.
I can't do that. Not right now.
When I met you, you are running from him. You don't know what they've done.
I have 4 berries.
Well, they've murdered me, so I know exactly what they're capable of.
And why are you defending them? Move.
It's not called defending. And Atticus is going to turn around and just kind of look at the mirror knight and say, "Will we meet again?"
As you say this, Nyx, looking up at you from the floor, Benath just looks up at you, and you see someone who and just sort of makes eye contact with you. Lying there on the floor. Atticus, the mirrored knight, steps forward.
It's been a very long time. Atticus of the House of Phoenix.
Indeed. Last time I saw you, I was, you killed one of my knights, and then you butchered my town.
And you're sure they were a Knight of the Phoenix?
Well, I knighted them myself.
Maybe you should be more careful who you allow to take the knee. A Knight of the Phoenix is a sacred position.
Hey man,
you
I don't
come-
come to where you work and complain about your performance, you know.
Did you just come to lecture me on who I choose to be in the order, or I assume if you're not trying to kill us right now, there's something you want to discuss with us, perchance?
I came for you, Atticus, and you alone. Tell me, what do you see when you look into the fire?
Atticus is gonna like stop for a moment and think, and he's like, lies, false promises, dark deals made behind the back. Shall I go on?
Everyone in the room, you see the shine, the refraction of light coming off the mirror night begins to dim, and the armor almost seems to darken and draw light into itself, as even the ambient light in the room coming from the balcony outside and
Ready to
the
action.
lanterns that are, yeah, for sure. That all begins to dim as well. And almost like a cinema, you know, the breastplate is probably the largest surface that doesn't have a lot of angles on it that kind of make it impossible. You know, it's sort of the only non-funhouse mirror reflecting surface. I think all of you begin to see an image played out. You see a hill looking down into just a vast wetland. You know, trees, especially in the distance, trees are thicker. Marsh grass grows high. And there is just a group of knights dressed in various garb. A lot of these knights bear kind of red and gold cloth and cape along with their armor, but some green and gold, some blue and white, but mostly red and gold. And as this band of knights looks down on the wetlands beneath them, there is a darkness that just begins to seep up from this, and that is washed away. And the next image that you see is a city. Atticus, to you, you know, looks kind of similar to St. Florian, but much, much older. Almost like the ruins of a city that St. Florian would have been built upon, you know, because there are kind of things that you see in its architecture that are mimicked by St. Florian. But in this case, the city, you know, kind of also a marsh type, like overgrown, the vegetation everywhere, tumbling ivy, orchids, things like that. But it is all actively on fire and collapsing. You know, knights in front of this roaring inferno on their horses. Some are thrown off. There are others that stand, swords held aloft. And out of this fire, smoke. Black smoke. And in the smoke, something begins to take shape. An eye socket of a skull, a long beak, as this thing made of darkness and smoke looms out of the fire, gives a monstrous roar, and with one arm just passes through a horde of knights. You see them all begin to catch fire. Any of them that are wearing red and gold the fire doesn't seem to harm them. Actively, armor's not burning, it's metal. It's beginning to glow with heat. The red and gold of kind of their cloth and things like that quickly burn away. Knights next to them fall to the ground, burned alive. And the knights in red and gold continue to fight. This passes, and you see, again, now on another hilltop overlooking the city, a much smaller band of knights, remaining only no capes, no colored armaments. It looks as though all their garments have been singed away. Some of them, their armor still glows from being in the heat. As they all take a knee and look out on a city with no darkness in it anymore, even though it has been razed to the ground. And the Mirrored Knight takes a step forward.
There is no sword that can defeat the darkness that follows you, Atticus Phoenix. Come with me. Spare your friends. What would attempt to unleash itself upon them?
And you see the Mirrored Knight just holds out his hand.
Atticus looks at the knight and then kind of looks back at his group. And he looks at Bert. And he looks back at the knight and he says, if I go with you, is this to ruin the ruins of me, or is this an attempt at salvation for all?
You and you alone, Atticus, see a vision in your head. Standing on the prow of a boat filled with night guard, the Mirrored Knight at its helm, you are out in the open ocean. In the distance, in one direction, you can gaze, you just sort of see this shoreline dim. But there's this almost pulsing glow to it as you just see waves in the distance are lapping up on just this field of coals. But you are out in the open water. The Mirrored Knight nods at you, and you kneel down over the edge of the boat. The Mirrored Knight raises his sword and brings it down. First your head, and then shortly after your body just fall into the darkness of the ocean.
Mm.
And the vision fades.
Much like how Atticus stepped in front of Nyx, Nyx is now going to step in front of Atticus and almost trusting the party around them. They're actually going to put their back to the Mirrored Knight. And eyes locked with Atticus. Do not trust them. They deal in lies and trickery and manipulation, and they will steal your light, Atticus, and your light is what has brought us this far. It's what's united us. Your fire isn't something to be feared. It is something to stoke and to something to control and to spark change in this world. We need you. You stay with us.
You see Atticus, he knows Nyx is there, but he's locked in on wherever he thinks the Mirrored Knight's eyes, and you just see him smirk just a little bit. See him give out a little smirk, and he looks at the Mirrored Knight and says, come on now. You know I'm not one to go easy into anything.
And he's not the only one with darkness. Oh, hold on one second. Perrin pulls up his pants. He's not the only one with darkness following after him.
If you want to go through a walk through the tulips with me, darling, you're gonna do a little more convincing than that.
Perrin, make a perception check for me real quick.
I thought you were gonna make me roll dex. I'm pulling my pants up. Perception?
We also didn't do a roll for length and girth here. I'm a little disappointed.
Perception.
No one saw it. No one saw it. So
yeah, perception
That's
is
yet to be
17.
determined.
There was a mist, all right? There was a large mist. Cold out,
Must have been
okay?
a dense mist.
did you say a 17, Perrin?
17 perception.
You're close to the balcony. You hear outside, kind of beneath the balcony around the House of the Five Tongues, you hear that the crowd noise out there is changing as kind of the noise, just the general noise of the market kind of almost dies off a little bit, and you hear a lot of that kind of turn to murmurs, and you hear the march of armored feet outside.
Amos,
This is
find us an empty alleyway to escape through.
Amos flits off.
Nyx is almost like vibrating with restrained energy at this point. They are nervous and looking at the mirrored knight like they are ready to kill them, but holding back just because Atticus. But yeah, they don't want to stay in the room either.
How about this, old pal? You say I got a darkness in me that needs to be exterminated. How about we make a little deal right now? I'm pretty sure I know the source of it. I'm pretty sure I know how to stop it. So, how about a little wager between gentlemen for history's sake? You let me go quell that darkness. And if I succeed, we'll reconvene and settle the score man to man. If I don't, you can have my head.
Go ahead and roll me a persuasion check.
Uh, 17 on persuasion.
The mirrored knight is going to take another step forward.
Boy, the fact that you think you are capable of quelling this darkness alone only tells me how important it is that I end you here.
And go ahead and make an insight check for me. Anyone who is in the room can make that insight check right now.
Is he in the doorway or outside of the doorway?
He's taking a couple steps out of the doorway into the room.
That's
Behind him.
Ooh, you want to try and slide behind him?
Yeah, Vox wants to be as close behind him as possible, kind of keeping quiet, watching this situation.
Yeah. As everyone else makes their insight check, go ahead and give me a stealth check real quick for Vox.
Anna's gonna step up next to Atticus and say, he's not alone. And also I rolled a 27.
I rolled a 25. Nat 20 plus 5.
Mine wasn't nat 20, it was 19.
Yeah, mine was nat 20 plus 5.
Mine was just 17.
Instead of my 20.
Okay. What was the stealth check?
16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24.
That's way high. Box like a shadow. Just you are behind the mirrored knight. You're flanking them now.
Objects in mirror may be
maybe
closer
closer.
than appear.
God, between the 27 and the nat 20, I'm going to give this, I think, in almost this sort of, you know, I don't know if we're saying adopted daughter or adopted niece, but in this almost familial bond that the two of you have found yourself in, you both gain. If the mirrored knight wanted Atticus dead outright, Perrin, you've seen his power. Fauna, you know that while Nerlith wasn't killed by the mirrored knight, whatever the fight took out of her, it was a lot. Certainly, it's caused her not to reach out. I think twice since the. This is an incredibly. You saw how easily he just dispatched the vampire. If you wanted Atticus dead, and there was no other that he could have walked in and done it. There is an enormous amount of hesitation and restraint. The Mirror Knight is in deep conflict over this conflict with Atticus.
Fauna is going to, like after she steps up and says, like, the Atticus is not alone, she's going to follow up with, what is it that you really want?
You
Guidance.
you say that, Fauna. God, Perrin and nat 20 insight is just so.
Can I make a gut check and you tell me if it fits the nat 20?
Yeah.
I think Perrin kind of takes, if Fauna's stepping up this way, Perrin's gonna step kind of the other way, and he's gonna say, "And who are you actually?"
Perrin, you got a nat 20 insight. I'm gonna give it to you. Hold on. Let me find something real quick. This is very unexpected. Hold on one second.
While you're looking, just to fill the silence,
Yeah.
Nick's gonna help Banas up off the floor and somewhat protectively step in front of him, but also they're trying very hard to restrain and hold back.
Cool. Perrin, there is something in the voice familiar to you. And then you remember, you'd known about, I think you known before even the Dreadspire, you knew about Atticus Phoenix just by reputation for a little while. I'm going to say probably leading up to the Dreadspire, at least a couple decades. The reputation of a phoenix, and one in particular is long-lived as Atticus, gets around. So while you never met, you had recently heard the exploits of I think, had made your way to you of Atticus Phoenix, who had not only you know, helped here and there with some different, I don't want to say rebel group, but maybe helped to liberate more than a few villages and you know, and I think the nature, like you also being kind of long lived in Mira, it's just, I don't want to call it, be presumptuous and call it a kinship, but I think that knowing about Atticus's exploits gave Perrin food for thought. What if instead of trying to live a life where I just sort of tried to dissolve quietly into the place where I was, I did that, because that doesn't seem to be working out. Every home I find myself dissolving into is destroyed. And on one of these long walkabouts, you found yourself not even on the continent of Nimir anymore. You got on so many ships, so many that you weren't even really, it's just an island at the edge as far as you could go. And at the edge of this, it's just kind of a bed of coals that spills out into the ocean. And you recall a conversation you had with a man in that bed of coals. When you arrived at the island, he was just there, sleeping. He was your presence woke him up, and you just kind of had a heart to heart, unexpectedly, with your kind of man, very large, long blonde hair, kind of fell down past his shoulders. Big blonde beard, but kind of very scraggly. It just almost looks like every time it grows out long enough, the heat of the coals would sort of singe it back. So it is kind of, it's scraggly, but kept just by the heat where it's singed at the edges. And you spoke to this man. And when he caught the name Atticus Phoenix, he perked up with interest and looked at you.
Phoenix, you say?
Oh, yeah, I mean, he's just running around doing what he does. Do you say you don't want any wine, or you did? Perrin's holding 2 glasses.
Quite all right. You said a phoenix. You're
Right.
sure?
Yeah, one of the sort of a do-gooder type.
Did you catch a first name?
Adi, Arb, Ib, I don't know.
Atticus?
That sounds reasonable.
You see the man lower his head. A long silence. And then you just hear him begin to weep.
My boy. My boy. I think I'll take that. I'll take that drink if you don't mind.
Aaron has already taken a sip out of both, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, this I just poured this one."
He takes it. He's very quiet after that in the conversation. And I think shortly after the wine is finished, he thanks you, stands up, brushes coals off his body where they're stuck to it. If Baron hasn't done anything to protect himself from the coal, you would actively be kind of taking damage. So I don't know if you've done.
I feel like
things in
I'm
the
sitting
coals.
on like a life raft
Yeah.
that's made out of wine barrels.
Perfect. It's just kind of, it's not fully on fire. It's just kind of gently cooking at the bottom. Yeah, yeah, gets up and you just see walks off and disappears in the distance.
Yeah, you still didn't say where that inn was. I want to. All right, that's fine.
You're back in the moment. The mirrored knight turns his head to look at you, Perrin. Looks back to Atticus.
Forgive me, my boy.
And raises the sword to come down. I know that there was a held action.
Yeah, I was gonna say to come down on Atticus. Yeah, no, fuck that.
I feel like we were all kind of tensing for this
Yeah,
exact thing.
Yeah,
No?
I'm gonna allow it in this moment. I mean, the mirrored knight is going like through with a stroke, but is deeply conflicted about what is happening. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming we're all gonna say we're doing something. Perrin is gonna try to tangle his arm up with ornament of rights and pin the end of ornament of rights against the wall.
okay, we will call that, and I'm gonna let, because of that nat 20 on insight, I'm gonna let you go, and then Fauna's gonna follow. And
Yeah, that's
then
why I was-
everyone else because the insights. We're gonna call this, if you're just trying to sort of deflect the blow, and we'll call it kind of a grapple check, so it'll be a contested athletics.
14.
On a 17, it's not the blade. You like go to pin it and fighting against the blade, like the blade is still making its motion. Fauna.
Fauna is going. Am I okay? Fauna's going to cast Sanctuary on Atticus as a precaution in case Atticus doesn't react quickly enough to counter the blow that's coming at him.
Yes.
So that's going to be her first move, but that's also a bonus action. So then after that is taken care of, I think how close are we within 5 feet?
I'm gonna say you're kind of all in the
Okay.
within that area right now. You've all drawn in closer.
She's also then going to use firebolts, but try to target it specifically at his arm, like his sword arm as he's swinging, to also try and just deflect and derail what is probably gonna be a really bad blow.
Well, here's what I'm gonna say. We don't even have to get to the fireball because I just made the wisdom save for attacking a creature that Sanctuary is cast on for the Mirror Knight and rolled a natural 2. So you see, tell me what it looks like as you cast Sanctuary on Atticus.
Just the spell sort of appears around Atticus as like a green shimmery, like almost like a force field, just like around his whole body. And as the blow, like as the sword comes trying to crash down on him, it just like hits the force field, but like just like goes dink. Like just like a tiny little bounce off, like just completely, in addition to deflecting the blow, also just like completely takes all of the like impressive, like anything that was gonna look cool about that is now just like deflected in this like tiny little dink, like it was nothing.
I love it. Atticus, in all your
Do I
time
have-
wandering to Mira,
Yeah.
did you ever go to the Evewood?
Probably. I mean, like Atticus has been a lone wanderer for a very long time, so has probably seen everything, probably except the Nightlands. Maybe sailed by it, but probably not been there.
Atticus, Fauna reaches out and sanctuary, this veil comes over you. You smell cedar. So faintly, it almost seems like a trick. You hear birdsong. Just from the forest. You feel the strength of old places. Trees, streams that have been flowing since Namira was a continent. Resounds out. The blow comes down. Ding! And all that force that was going into the blow coming off in the way that it does recoils in such an unusual way that the Miranite is kind of thrown back. Perrin, you are still wrapped around kind of wrapped around, pulling on the arm. On you also cast the firebolt. It reflects off, further disorienting. Vox, you are standing behind, sort of like the stepping back mirrored knight as they are thrown off. Do you do anything from the back?
Yeah, Vox is gonna jump up onto this man and wrap an arm around like chin to chest, that free area between his helmet. And she's also just gonna pull out a dagger and try to find that crest between the two platings where you could get skin and just kind of get
Make me an
down to
attack
his
roll.
ear.
Make me an
Yeah,
attack
and
roll.
whisper. She's not gonna use it. She's not gonna try
Yeah.
to use it. She's just
No, but yeah, make
put
me an
it
attack
right
roll
there.
to just make an attack roll to like get in there and have it there.
Yeah. With the dagger, that was a nat 20. Plus 5.
Okay, is Nyx doing anything this month? I just want to know before we finish illustrating what happens.
Well, the problem is, so I had my readied action,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and then Vox crept around behind, but I still have to stick with my readied action. So yes, the entire time that they're standing there, like visibly getting more and more disturbed and just anxious to attack, like shadows are vibrating around them and pulsing, and then the moment that blade comes up, they step forward, all the shadows suck into their hood and then expel out. I'm casting Shatter at 3rd level, except the way I'm casting it is with a scream. So it is, Shatter against him and now also Vox.
It's a con save, right?
Yes, con save.
Okay, this is also very important. I believe the wording on Shatter is that it can't damage magical items, correct?
A creature made of inorganic materials such as stone, crystal, or metal has disadvantage on the saving throw. A non-magical object that isn't being worn or carried also takes the damage if it's in the spell's area.
Non-magical. Okay, cool. I'm going to make a save. That's a fail on the Constitution save.
Full damage on a fail, half damage on a save.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead and I guess roll the full damage as you cast that.
All right.
And then Vox, depending on whether you make the
So
con save
sorry,
or not.
Vox, but I already had it set that they were going to do as high of damage as possible. And given how suddenly you jumped in there, I don't think Nyx would hold back.
Also,
yeah.
is Vox kind of like behind?
Yeah, Vox is behind.
Mostly
And she
shielded
happened-
by the body of the knight.
It's like an area effect,
saved
though.
already.
Yeah.
Like I had my action saved with Theon also.
Think of it like it's like kind of more like a circle than like a projection forward. It's like an area.
I think
Okay.
we're all within 10 feet.
Yeah, I got a 15. Does that save?
Sorry, let me check. Uh, just barely, yes. So you get half damage. Okay. So that's 27 thunder damage. And because that was my reaction, do I get a full action now as well?
No, because I'm going to tell you what happens next as you cast that.
Okay.
So, that's a nat 20 on the thing. Theon is coming around too and does the classic, like, sees you going high and so sweeps the leg to go low. And as the Mirrored Knight falls back on that nat 20 to get in there, you have it like pried in the, I think as the shatter spell goes off, the force of it just impacts both of you. You feel the armor vibrating, it loosens it up enough. That knife is in there. You said you didn't want to do damage, but it is fully like pried up the corner of this helmet. And I think on the nat 20, Bert comes running up. Atticus does just sort of runs, leaps, jumps off your shoulder and takes a strike, like directly for the head too. The helmet. There's this sound of shattering, not just from the spell, but from like almost this crystalline as the armor breaks its seal. The helmet comes flying off, and for the first time since you were a child, Atticus, you see the face of your father as the helmet comes flying off, and the Mirrored Knight, Armitage Phoenix, falls backwards right onto his 8-foot ass. I mean, I guess the ass isn't 8 feet. He's 8 feet, but it's a big fall.
Yeah, Atticus is just doesn't know how to feel in this moment.
In that
he
moment,
saw him.
Yeah, sorry.
No, he saw him. He saw him like burned to death as a child. So, yeah, he's just standing. He's like, Dad, just shocked.
In this moment, Perrin, Amos flits back in. I found an alley, but we have to go now. There are so many Night Guard out there. If we don't get out of here now, we're not going to get out of here.
We are all going to die if we do not leave now.
Bert turns around, looks at you, Atticus, looks back at the man on the floor, looks to you. Banath is the orcs is fully just going to turn and like run to the lookout over the edge, sort of reach down into these pouches, uncoil some rope, like flick it twice around the thing, and then just look back at all of you and particularly at you, Nyx, and just beckons with his hand and is just going to start rappelling off the balcony.
Nyx lets out like a growl that they just feel like they're getting robbed of it again. But they're going to turn and like grab Atticus's arm and start dragging him towards the balcony away and out. And
no contested strength. Atticus is in his own world right now.
I think I'm going to fourth level spell it and just to themselves say, I need you now, and bring out the Waxing Knight to stand at their back and hold anybody else who comes in after them.
Yeah, you see she appears, that translucent form, gives a small smile in between you and the Mirrored Knight. Walks fully prone, certainly can't take attacks of opportunity, anything like that. Theon looks at you and just holds out his hand.
Fox grabs it.
Yeah. pulls
and
you
kind of
out.
like pushes the man off of her. It is just like, when you get the wind knocked out of you and it hurts and you can't
Yeah.
breathe, but you're fine. You're just like, oh.
Yeah. Theon pulls you out.
It was good work with the blade.
Wish I nicked him. But I guess, okay, let's go. But
Yeah.
maybe.
I mean, he says that as he's like pulling you out,
family
running,
dynamic.
running towards the balcony. Fawn, are you also headed out?
Yeah, I think as he like the helmet is like totally separate from his body.
Yeah,
Like, if any-
his face is revealed for sure. The helmet's like clattered off to the side, and yeah.
I guess like have any like pieces come off of the armor that would be like grabbable in the moment,
For
like bits of mirror or something.
For sure, the helmet would be.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm going to roll a luck check to see if it went past him, like out the door, or when it came off, if it like clattered towards you. You want a higher number, so an 11 through a 20.
How heavy is the helmet?
Surprisingly light for how thick it seems. I think it's, a couple pounds. I'm going to say that was a high roll though. It's 14. When it came off, it like shot off in such a direction that it's right there at your feet.
Okay, Fauna's gonna grab it.
Okay.
And then also, like, she's gonna try and do it like a little stealthily, so that hopefully the Mirror Knight doesn't see specifically that she has that's what she's doing.
Yeah, make me a sleight of hand check. And the cat's gonna give you advantage for sure, as the cat darts over.
That's 15.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Fauna's
And then
tucking
also-
a full-on disco ball into her pocket.
grab it,
seeing
you've
Yeah,
got
what-
this
she's doing like a little
prism,
witch
yeah.
cape over the, you know what I mean? Like just disappears into her like many witch pockets of
Yeah.
her outfit.
Okay.
And then also, I just want to say like really quick on the way out, she also would grab the orb.
Perfect. Yep. No problem. Yeah. You've got the orb too. Here's what I will say. We'll do this one last check before we take our quick little 10-minute break. Is there anything that anyone else wants to do before they like go to bail out the balcony in this room?
Perrin is gonna grab whatever looks fancy on the table that Mira had.
Give me. I'll let you give me an investigation check with disadvantage because you're actively like trying to just bolt out of the room.
I just rolled 18 twice. Investigation plus 1, 19.
Okay. Yeah. You see. I think I just that there weren't like a lot of papers or there wasn't a lot of information in this room.
Oh no, he wants knickknacks.
You don't see any knickknacks. You do see a sealed envelope stamped with just a fang in the crest.
Not unmuting now.
Excuse
There
me,
we go.
not a fang, a fawn, like a horn, like like a fawn horn on the.
Nyx is going to snag Benath's broken spear before heading out, while like shoving Atticus and
I would
Aaron,
let you, but I did ink that was a different. The room that you looked in was the room that you'd originally been in, and Mira was in a different room this time.
damn it.
So the spear is across the
Never
way in the other room.
they're still gonna look back towards the mirrored knight and just say, "Give us my regards," and yeet over the edge with Atticus.
Okay. Vox.
Can I say that before? Because you said that Vox felt that feeling of like Mira feeling scared for her mother, and Vox feeling similar to that.
Or rather,
And then,
not being afraid for her mother. You felt a feeling of fear from her, like a mother would feel.
yeah. Can I say, and because they were like semi close before all of this happened, is there any piece of jewelry that Mira would have worn on like her hands or her wrists that Vox would have grabbed before sneaking behind the Mirrored Knight to take something off Mira and put it in her pocket?
I will let you make a past perception check to see if you did. She was dead, so there was nothing, nothing she could have done.
That is a 19.
100%. There was a small silver chain with a locket on it.
Cool. I am not going to open that yet because she just shoved it in her pockets while sneaking.
Okay, cool. Before we go on break,
19.
I'm going to say, in order to get down this rope, everyone's going to make me an athletics check just to see how smooth you descend. I don't want to go through like rounds of like, does the Mirrored Knight get up to... I'm just going to assume you've disoriented the Mirrored Knight enough with all of this that you're going to make it down the rope without being pursued by him. But just make an athletics check to...
I rolled a nat 20.
Can I give guidance to everybody?
You can give guidance to everybody. And
Can I
I'm going to say on your nat 20...
So everyone touch the rope?
Yes. I'm going to say on that nat 22, Perrin, anyone that doesn't do great, you can give advantage to one person on their athletics check with that nat 22.
Perrin helps Fauna down.
Cool. I mean, but I will also let you
He
wait to see
repels
like...
down with her as a piggyback ride.
It was looking dire when I rolled, so.
Okay. Great. Then yeah, roll it with advantage.
Atticus has ran like he's never ran before in his life on a 24. This man does not do cardio, but today he's doing cardio.
Okay.
Vox got a 16 on her acro.
Okay.
Was it athletics or acrobatics?
It's just your own way. I'll allow it to be acrobatics. You're not climbing up a rope too, you're descending. So if you want it to be acrobatics, that's okay.
With
that's a lot
acrobatics,
better for me.
26.
Okay.
I still got 10 though, even with acrobatics and advantage.
But you do have guidance too. So if you want to roll an extra D4, everyone's got guidance.
Oh, I do want to do that.
Also, inspiration in case you haven't used it yet.
And it was a 31.
What does that mean?
It's a D6.
Okay, good.
Ooh, a D4 and a D6. Jeez.
Listen, I got 1 on the D4, so.
Aaliyah,
Roll
just
the
keep rolling
D6.
all your dice until you get greater than 15.
Okay, I got 17 total now.
Okay, we got it there. Great. Cool.
What
We're
does
going to
Bert
take
roll?
our 10-minute break. When we come back, we're just going
Before
to...
we do,
Yeah.
just with a final, teach them the way of the blade, Nyx is going to leave the Waxing Knight there in the room, and is going to cast Pass Without Trace on everybody again.
Perfect. Awesome. Cool. We will, when we come back, you'll be navigating the streets to get to the alley that Amos saw, all with a Pass Without Trace. There we go. And we're back. I think no one rolled under a 15, right? With all the bonuses that Fauna eventually got, made it to a 17.
Well,
Luckily.
Real quick, before we start, hello, Raiders.
Hello, Raiders. Welcome.
Welcome to the madness.
Hello. Yeah. Welcome to the Escape from Esparia.
Stevie Mill plays. Hi, guys.
Or at least from the House of the Five Tongues.
I think this is a recurring raid, right? This is 2 or 3 times in a row. So thanks for joining us, Stevie Mill and Watchers.
Yeah, you guys are incredible.
Okay. With everyone on a 15 or higher, you hit the ground. Your timing on the 15 or higher is good. You're not coming down. The crowd is kind of dispersed in this area as the night card has just come through. I am going to ask for a group stealth check too. As you disembowel, keep in mind you've all got pass without trace, so everyone's getting a +10 to this.
Okay. I rolled disadvantage on stealth, so
I got a nat 20 that time, so kind of made up for the last thing.
God, Cat's going to give you advantage, Atticus, as the cat comes down behind you.
Okay. I rolled a nat 1.
27.
Oh, no.
Okay, that's okay. Then the nat
26.
Okay. Those are all really good rolls. Perrin, I think even you're on your nat 1, like next to you, you're about to like coming off the rope. You are about to just absolutely like eat shit into the street, and Fauna just sort of catches you and keeps you on your feet in a very cat-like manner, I would say.
So I got a 32 on stealth. Can I help anyone who is not being stealthy?
Yeah, I think on the 32, absolutely. Bert rolled a 5, which would have been still a total of 17, which is pretty quiet. But we'll just say for like Bert is coming down in his armor too, and you just sort of catch Bert as he comes off the rope, and he looks up at you, looks over. There's no night guard immediately headed towards you on the street. The backs of about 24 or so night guard that are at this point kind of interspersed with the market crowd. Their backs are facing you about 50 feet away. Looks like they were kind of headed around to get around to the front of the House of the Five Tongues. You don't immediately see any other night guard in the area. Bert just kind of looks at them, looks up at you, Nix, and just puts a finger to his little toad lips. Those are really good.
Just completely enshrouded in shadow.
Yeah.
And Nyx like pulls them close and is like, shh, in return.
And Atticus, what was your, you got to roll straight. What was Atticus's stealth roll?
Oh, I mean, with pass without, it was 17, but with pass without trace, 27.
Y'all are ghosts.
That's a 5.
That was my ghost noise.
Yeah. Amos flitting ahead, darts down an alley, and then another alley. You are all running through the night market. The Atticus, the noise of the market, the noise of the party's feet, everything just kind of fades, and you just hear your own heartbeat beating much faster than, you're not running, right? You're moving stealthily. Your own heart drowns out the sound of everything else. Just, and you cannot shake the sight of the face of your father looking up at you from the floor. Give me we'll call this a perception check, kind of in the past too, like when you, just to see if you notice anything.
16 on perception.
You would have noticed that there were tears on your father's face when the helmet came off. You're running. Every step echoes in you. You don't hear your armor, just your heart. Everyone else, Amos is darting the head. Who is taking the lead on this and who is taking the back?
I think Perrin's all the way at the back.
Okay.
I think
Yeah, Fauna's toward the back as well.
Okay.
especially holding Pass Without Trace and kind of like dragging Atticus along and feeling the presence of the Night Guard behind them and knowing what they're capable of, Nyx is going to take lead.
Okay.
But it's a very aware of the rest of the group lead. Like,
Great. Yep.
Yeah.
So Nyx, you're at the front. Atticus right behind. Fauna, Perrin at the back. Bert is keeping stride with you, Vox, in the middle as the cat kind of darts in and out of everyone's feet. I'm going to do, this is this stealth check, group stealth check, phenomenal. No one's passive perception is going to catch you. I am going to roll just a few. I'm going to roll 3 luck checks to see if cutting through these alleyways. Amos was only able to scout so far ahead. If you do run into any other groups of Night Guard as you flee, you want high numbers, 11 and
going
up.
to ready in action, but the entire time we're moving, Nyx is just like actively like pulling shadow around them,
Cool.
and twisting it and casting illusions to make it seem like we're just, tricks of the eye to everyone around, and we're blending into the bricks themselves at this point.
Okay. First roll, that's an 11. Just high enough. Second roll. I'm not going to roll a third roll because the second roll was a nat 20.
I was gonna say that was a bad DM scoff.
Perfectly darting ahead, coming back to lead you a different way. Amos carves out of the night market. You all continue on for the time. I think for you, Atticus, is lost. You're not sure if it has been days or 5 minutes. But within a couple hours, no incidents with Night Guard, you emerge not just from the night market, but at the edges of Esparia. Looking out, it's still nighttime. The desert sky lit with stars. The very, very dim light of kind of the first or second day of the crescent moon beginning to wax, shines down. I think the usually pinkish reddish sand is tinted blue in this light. It is cold out here, but you are just outside the walls of Esparia. You've escaped. There's no travelers currently coming in. You hear the sounds of the night market behind you. What do you all do?
Atticus has kind of gotten his wherewithal back. His heart has dampened beating, and he looks at everybody, and you see Atticus's eyes are usually pretty happy. He's usually a pretty happy-go-lucky guy, but that's not there right now. You see pretty much dead eyes at this point. He has a look of sorrow on his face, and he looks at the group and says, well, we can't stay here. I can't stay here. I need to go home.
Go ahead.
I need to go home.
I still
I
have
don't
with the thorn.
I don't give
We all need a
a
night.
rat's piss
You
about that
need a night.
anymore. You're not listening to me. I don't give a rat's piss about that anymore. Um, Burgent's a good man. He can figure it out. If you want to stay here, you can figure it out as well. I'm not asking you, any of you, to go with me. I'm telling you what I'm doing.
Where is home for you?
South, Saint Florin. Um,
Bert, as you're saying this, Atticus, Bert just steps forward and puts his sword, I guess actually longsword, at his hip. Steps up to you without a word, looks up at you, nods, and then turns to look at the rest of the group.
Perrin is gonna come up and take a look at Vox's arm that caught some of the radiant blast there. See if he can maybe wrap a bandage around an arm.
Yeah, go ahead and make a medicine check.
Vox is just kind of ignoring this, has her arm outstretched for Perrin to look at. Is Theon there?
Theon is there.
12.
Cool. Yeah, you do a good job bandaging it. It's not exposed to the elements anymore.
Thank you. She's just gonna turn to her uncle and can you have this under control? Can you help my mother and Riviana handle this? Atticus has done a lot for me, and I know what it's like to have family come back and not be what you thought they were. And I need to help him with this.
Theon steps up to you, puts a hand on your shoulder. Don't you worry, little tornado. I'll make sure nothing happens to him.
Thank you, Theon, uncle. I appreciate it. And let me write a letter to Riv. I can't leave without saying goodbye again. And I will write a letter and give it to you.
Beautiful. Okay, cool.
The automatons in that house we were at, I think they're combat available. Maybe you can use them for something. I'd release control of them to you.
Understood.
Yeah.
I
Look,
guess this crawling with enough night guard as is. We go as one. We stuck it through.
I think Fauna kind of like looks to Perrin, like she's gonna follow the lead of like if he wants to stay or not.
Oh, I don't give a shit about this place.
Hey.
Good, because she doesn't want to abandon Atticus, but
I'm not saying it's a bad place, Vox.
kind
I'm
of
just saying
tied to her
I don't
dad.
give a shit.
all I know is if my own father is trying to kill me and has killed me before, then I need to take care of whatever is been the family horror or what we thought was part of the rich history of us. I know what I see in the fire, and I know it is a creature, a demigod, a demon of unsurmountable odds. But if it breathes, it can die, and I intend to do that.
Are you talking about? Maybe I misunderstand you. Are you talking about killing the phoenix? Your phoenix?
Yep.
What are you saying?
Either I'm gonna go out under the terms of my father, or I'm gonna end it on my terms, and I'm not gonna give them the satisfaction of that.
I
I
mean,
haven't
if you
seen them
need help
since a kid.
father, I'm first to volunteer. He and I have unfinished business of our own.
All I know is I've been haunted for years by a creature that, for all intended purposes, is probably how I got my last name. And yeah, I'm sorry. I don't really have the withband to explain more. I'm leaving. I'm going home. If you want to
Fauna,
come with, you're more than welcome to, but I can't promise we're going to make it out once you get down there.
I know a place we can make camp tonight up in these hills. It's about an hour's walk.
Two things real quick. Perrin, you say that. I'm going to do them in this order. First things first. Nyx, make me a history check. This could also, you could argue that this could also be a religion check, whichever one you want it to be.
They're both the same thing for me.
Okay.
As far as my stats are concerned. Adding a point. And also I still have my D6, so I might add that to whatever this is. It's even worse. Shit. If I add my D6, it's just gonna waste. That's a 4. Yeah.
Okay.
We're just gonna leave it at that.
Okay. Yeah. 4. None of this sounds familiar at all. Perrin, you say that thing about a place about an hour away that you could make camp at. Fauna. It's the second time you've been in the desert, not surrounded by city walls. You feel the wind cut at you. The sand, as it sort of in gusts, makes the wind sting a little bit more. But there's something to this place now that doesn't feel as foreign. You feel more in tune to the natural world around you. You recall
feel like I could summon Spirit House.
you recall the words of Inara Halflight giving you leave to summon your spirit house here. And I think you also know something in conjunction with the spirit house. Not only can no one enter the spirit house without your say-so, if you want to, once you enter the spirit house, it can be invisible until you reemerge from it the next day. Like, no one can even find the door if you don't want him to, unless they had a particular connection to you but the Mirrored Knight certainly doesn't have that. The Night Guard certainly don't have that.
Is that a new thing because it leveled up? Because before, couldn't people just like stumble across it?
I think you're in more control of it now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Fauna would say feel the feels, and she would be like, I don't think we even need to travel an hour. And then she would just summon Spirit House. Preferably, even though people can't see it, preferably somewhere like scout out a spot that's kind of out of the way, maybe like below or outcropping or something that's gonna like, so people aren't just gonna run into it as they're walking down the road.
Well, I think like what I'm saying is that like almost like think of it like it would appear to people not even as a house if you don't want it to. Like if you want it to be welcoming to everyone, certainly it can be a beacon of light for a weary traveler. But if you want to keep it hidden from any eyes other than the parties or someone with like a very deep connection to you, that's inherent in the magic of it.
Right. But I mean,
Just be like
if
a
it's invisible, it's still like a physical form, right? Like if it was just in the middle of the street, people would like
You
hit
could make
it
it
if
look
they
like
were
a
walking?
now. You could make it look like a boulder. You could make it, but you're outside the walls now too. So it's, I mean, behind you is the city, but in front of you is just the open desert. You know, walled in by those cliffs on either side.
Okay.
Yeah, Fauna, you step forward, and I think for the first time in this campaign, because the first time it happened, it was Nerlith, you reach deep into the environment, and this time there's no smell of cedar, there's no birds chirping, but all of you, everyone around you, you smell sweat, but not unpleasant. Sweat of like the midday sun in the desert. You hear the sound of hooves galloping over hard sand. It's just sort of like the sounds of the desert and the smells. And there is a little bit like Inara, there's that faint little hint of cardamom, cinnamon, of spices that come in as well. And out of the ground comes the tree. First sprouts, and then a trunk as it begins to emerge and grow, and is a little bit more gnarled and twisted here in the desert. Takes on a slightly different form. Still a few green leaves here and there, but they're much hardier and almost thicker, as if to withstand the heat that would be here. And the door appears on it and opens at your touch, Fauna.
Even after all this time, still managed to surprise me. Got a lot of tricks hidden up those sleeves, huh?
Still surprising myself as well.
The
Best
cat
way to-
darts in front of you, Fauna. Oh, thank God. Runs to like its little, and just immediately begins biscuit making on this little cushion in the corner next to one of the couches. You're all
Nix
safe.
is going to kind of like gently but firmly shepherd Atticus in, and regardless of your decisions or where you're heading, what you need now is rest. We're safe for the night. We can figure out the rest in the morning.
Yeah, Atticus just hears it. He nods at Nyx reassuringly, but he's just quiet. He's in his own head, and he's just gonna find he's gonna walk over to Perrin and Vox, and he's just gonna stare at them both and kind of give the old like Atticus look of like the thank you, and like, you know, old Atticus look of just of happiness and glad they're here, and give a pat to Bert and look at Fauna and say to her, I'm glad you're here as well, and look at Nyx one more time, nod, and just find a corner to go stoic mode, as they say, to look inward.
Nyx is gonna cast Cure Wounds on Benath. And kind of check in on him, like, are you okay? I mean, I know it's a stupid question to ask, but she's gone now. You're free.
I can't thank you enough. That's twice you've saved me.
You're a child of the moon. We're one.
He smiles.
Like recognized like, and Nyx is gonna lean their forehead against his.
He returns it. I think anyone that is looking over at this moment right now, that is, there's the spirit house is lit by very warm candlelight. They were just placed in all the perfect spots to just give it this warm, welcoming, ambient glow.
There's definitely a fireplace too.
Yeah. This fireplace, I think, you, even in here, even summoned in the desert from the fireplace, you still get the familiar smell of cedar crackling in that very fragrant wood as the fireplace burns. Anyone who is looking in your direction, Nyx, as you and Benath, there is just this silvery glow that comes in through the window. Kind of illuminates just the two of you. Benath's gonna pull back a little bit.
I'm thankful for the rest. In the morning, I will return to my sister, to Anne Barshak, with the upset in the wake of losing the Regent and the Fang. Perhaps my people need no longer be confined to the orchard. I will do what I can to make that happen.
Your clan needs you. I'm sorry your journeys were upset so far, but
in this
I
moment,
have any savings in the future.
yeah, make me a little persuasion check.
Always have freedom far beyond the orchard. Ooh, God, there goes my D20. Persuasion, you said?
Mm-hmm.
I can extra bonus to that. 18. Dirty 20.
He looks at you and smiles.
Thank you again.
And go off in the corner to rest. Is anyone else doing anything in here before their long rest?
Fauna has a couple things she wants to do.
Yeah.
First of all, she noticed the Nyx and Benath and the moon glow that was like drawn in through the window because of like almost attracted to them, it seems like. And she's going to use the orb, like she's going to fill the orb with that particular light.
Hell yeah. I love that. Okay, make me an Arcana check. With it, you could do it with advantage. This is your spirit house.
I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. It's all right. Okay, that is 19.
Awesome. Yeah, you're gonna fully soak up as much as this orb can soak up of that particular moonlight.
Cool.
What's the second thing?
The second thing is, before she retires to her little cozy bed in her house, she stops by Atticus's corner on the way upstairs, and is Atticus like approachable? Like, does it seem like it's okay to talk to Atticus right now?
Yeah, he's just he probably found like a window, if there was one in here, and he's just kind of like staring out the window.
Okay. Didn't want to disturb him if he seemed like he was just like asleep or something.
No, he's awake.
Okay. I don't know what is to come, and I don't know if this will help, but it seems like you should have it. And she's going to take the Mirrored Knight's helmet from under her cloak and hand it to Atticus.
Atticus looks at it and just, sees the reflection of himself in the helmet and sees, his father too. He's his father's son, and he sees himself in the helmet as well. And he looks at Fauna and kind of like puts the helmet down and leans over and says, I know the last couple weeks, even months, have been very hard for you personally. I know you've been thrown into something that you don't know. This is all new to you, and what I'm trying to say is thank you for being you. I mean, he's gonna lean back and kind of go back to staring out the window.
Anna's going to kind of nod and then just start to leave. But as she passes by him, just like gently lay her hand on his arm. It's probably like up here. And just say like
he gives it a little squeeze when she does it.
And she's gonna say thank you and then walk away up the stairs to bed.
Up the stairs
with the
to
cat.
bed. Cat?
Nicholas?
Yeah.
Oh,
up the
go ahead.
stairs.
Nyx is gonna go over to Perrin, and kind of while looking at Atticus, but clearly like trying to give him space. I probably should have asked this earlier, but given our new situation, better question would be to pose it to Atticus, but he seems otherwise preoccupied. Before you found me, I know you'd had run-ins with the Mirrored Knight before, but have you ever encountered someone named Calathus Arasent?
Yes.
And? Is he alive? Are they alive?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember.
I will tell you. I'll give you this one. Perrin would know Calathus Arasent was the kind of the what's the right word? The proxy, the person representing the Night Guard that came to you all the way back in that inn.
Right, when we saved the dwarf girl in the cage.
Yep. Yeah.
And she helped us there, and then she took off with like orphans.
Yeah, and then this Vox, or no, not Vox, someone, wouldn't have been Vox, someone cast suggestion on, I think, Calathus, which enabled your escape. I mean, as far as you know, he's the last time you saw him, he was alive.
I mean, yeah, probably. I drank a lot then. I think I met a turtle.
Well, if the Mirrored Knight is here, and if the Night Guard is here, I have to wonder if Calathus probably won't be far behind. Thank you. That's all I wondered.
What do they mean to you?
They mean nothing to me, other than whatever blood I can scrape out of them. They held my locket before you did. And where, for how long is still hazy, but I know I was a gift from Balak to Calathus. And all the lives that were taken after that, well, I think you and unfortunately Vox have a little bit of grasp before now.
Is that Is that all that matters to you? Getting revenge on the people who told you what to do?
I don't think it's so much as revenge as securing my freedom.
Here you
Well,
are, the world wide open in front of you.
and I intend it to stay that way. And for the first time, probably, I've run from a fight. And Nyx is going to look towards Atticus. If anyone else was by my side, I probably would have stayed to get my revenge, but I think something else has started to matter more. And I don't want to lose it. And I have no problems crushing anyone who comes in the way.
Yeah, I noticed that. I saw the anger in your eyes when you saw the mirrored knight. You almost hurt your friends. You did hurt your friends. You ought to think about what it is that will get in the way of your decisions, because if all you want is your own freedom and you don't care who gets in your way, you're not going to have a lot of friends left there in front of you.
You know, you've been strangely sage since you got sober, and I have to wonder how much of this is projection.
Perhaps. I was also raised to kill people, and I killed a lot of people. I was raised to destroy things, and I did that for a while. And that also follows after me, but yeah, perhaps. Destruction follows me one way or the other. Sometimes it's by my choice, and sometimes it's not. I've tried to not kill people, though. I just wonder if you did it at other people's bidding and now you do it at your own bidding. Have you ever considered just another thing?
The one time I tried peace is how I got into this mess in the first place. Sometimes the stronger hand wins. And sometimes you have to be the stronger hand for the good reasons. But that's enough for tonight. I think we're both just trying to figure it out.
Nyx, as you say that and walk away to find a place in the spirit house to sleep, you just sort of nestling in her usual place on Perrin's shoulder, you hear a familiar little bird song as Amos just goes about their regular duty of just kind of little night song, help Perrin sleep. And you recognize the song because it is a song that oh my god, how in that moment how did I just forget her name? Etheria. Thank you. Yeah. It is the first song that Etheria ever taught to Amos when they were trying to teach them how to sing and speak. Does anyone else have anything that they want to do before the long rest?
Nyx is just gonna whistle the little tune that used to summon Amos and have Amos perched somewhere nearby if she's not already inclined to do that by Perrin, just so she can hear the song closer and better and kind of imagine Etheria there. And I think as she curls up, they're hiding it, but especially Perrin's words and just seeing the mirrored night and Benath and all the events of the day and now Etheria's song, like they're just as conflicted as maybe not just as conflicted as Atticus is, but feeling that themselves, and they're crying in their hood.
Amos doesn't leave Perrin's shoulder, but the song continues for you until you fall asleep. Is Vox doing anything before long rest? I know you wrote that letter, gave it to Theon. Theon headed back in, so Theon's not with you anymore. With the letter,
I think the only thing that Vox would have done while laying down is probably pulled out the locket and opened it.
you pull out the locket, open it up. You see there are two small bloodstones. Almost, they seem, there's this deep red to them. They seem irregular, almost like pearls that were formed, and so naturally shaped this way. It's the difference between like taking a mineral and like forming it, or something forming naturally in an irregular but spherical shape. Just two small pearl-like bloodstones in the locket.
Yeah, she's just gonna close the locket and put it into a pouch that she has and put that away for another day, not feeling inclined to deal with additional stress after everything that's going on right now.
Yeah. Perrin, do you have anything else you're doing before?
I mean, I think Perrin would maybe try to catch Atticus privately, but if Atticus is kind of hanging on his own or not receptive to that, he would let it go.
I kind of see like Perrin. I feel like when Perrin wants to talk, correct me if I'm wrong, he kind of like does like the like side eye, but or like kind of walks by.
Yeah.
So I catch Perrin and I wave him over.
Yeah, Perrin kind of like pulls him into like one of the little surely book-lined alcoves in this house.
Oh yeah.
And he turns to Atticus to have a little chat and pauses for a moment and then just gives Atticus a hug.
Yeah, Atticus is kind of taken aback by this. He feels supported though in this moment. I feel like Atticus thinks he needs to be the strong one all the time, and he just grips onto Perrin and just and like kind of fighting back to. He's like, "Ah, what am I supposed to do right now?"
I don't know. I really don't.
Atticus like kind of chuckles. I'm like, I feel like you always got a plan, Perrin, and I I just I don't know what to do in this moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna work about as well as they usually do. I think this is messy and hard and difficult, and I don't know. I get it. I get weird family stuff. I've got some weird family stuff. I don't really know where my people are anymore. I don't know if they would ever let. Doesn't matter. It's not the same situation. It's hard. And I get seeing somebody that you thought was on your side and now they're your enemy.
Just he my paw. I saw him die at a very young, hundreds of years ago at this point. Um, I've lived most of my life without him, and knowing now he was alive, I mean, it's like a memory, right? It's like a painting or a vision. It's like it's almost idealistic in a sense, and um, when you look at it, you're like, wow, this is art, and this stirs emotion, and this stirs all the good things, and seeing them now, it's after, I mean, this man has fought me before. He's killed my friends. I hate him, but I still see my dad.
Yeah. Yeah. That's maybe the hardest part of them all is seeing someone that you love become something of destruction. I made a mistake once. It wasn't really my fault, but I watched someone dear to me be transformed into something that I don't recognize. And destruction has followed every moment since then. And I don't know if I have to kill her, or if I can help her, or if anyone can help her. I know how it feels to be chased by death. I know how it feels to have that in your wake and to not know where the blame is. It's heavy.
Atticus hears this and kind of like props up and puts a hand on Perrin's shoulder, and you know, I got nothing to say but thank you for your words, and I'm glad someone understands it. And I think we've been through enough at this point to know that whatever you need, I got you in it. I trust you.
There's something else, and I don't know if I should give you this hope. When we were in that tower, Amon talked about his mistake, trying to bring back his lost love and searching different realities to bring them back, and about the mistakes that had caused and the twisting that had caused. Now, I'm not saying it's true, because I don't know, but your father might still be the father you thought, and this might just be a different version of him. So, I think what you should do, if you can, is hold to what was good as your father, and we'll deal with that asshole when we get a chance.
I was waiting for the plan, and you would come up with something. Atticus kind of like looks down and looks at Perrin and looks him in his eyes, and
You don't have to remind everyone that you look down to look Perrin in the eyes. Come on.
no, just measuring, not measuring you by your stature, but the person you are.
We still haven't rolled length and girth.
Damn.
and he's gonna look at Perrin and say, "Why did you want to become a knight?"
I was trained for something that I did not agree to and told for years that it was my purpose. And now I'm realizing what I really want to do is look at somebody that I want to be like and just commit to becoming better than I was.
Would it be an overreach of me to say Fauna stirs this for you as well?
I have a lot of lost time to make up for. I can't just keep trying to obliterate myself.
Well, I'll say this then, Perrin. I have spent a lot of my life being put in the position of measuring men. If they're worth carrying the crest of the Phoenix, if they are worthy, if they will uphold what my family and me personally takes very seriously. Look, I have done bad things as well. I'm not a beacon of anything other than a man who's just trying to do the right thing, who also has time to make up for. You don't need to be a knight to be a good person. And you don't need a code or a creed that was written hundreds of years ago to dictate how you live your life. You're far too clever to be a knight. You're far too smart. You're not. We're different in that. So I want to tell you this: don't make up for lost time by agreeing to a creed or a code that I follow. Make up for lost time for just feeling the emotions that these people bring out of you. If you want to do good, let those emotions steer you. Don't let my creed steer you, because you're far too smart and you're far too cunning, and you are so quick on your feet, and I feel like you already know this.
Is that tenant number 2?
No, this is me telling you, Perrin, you are a good person. And you're worthy of good things. Now go and give on to others as you want. You know, that's the point of it all. I don't need any squires. I need friends, and I need people who think differently than me. And you don't need it either.
Perrin's gonna kind of nod and consider this, but not really commit to anything in response, just showing that he's listening.
Cool. I think as we are closing this out, everyone's kind of in their respective spaces to rest. Bert's there next to Atticus, just kind of like, this is a spirit house. There's lots of comfortable nooks and crannies. So there's almost like this little, like, cushion cradle that Bert is leaned back into, kind of at your feet. His armor's off, just wearing simple little brown tunic, sword polished next to the armor. Hey, Atticus?
Yeah, Bert?
Well, I was just wondering, I'm a toad, and for a long time I was just a toad, and I don't rightly remember the magic that, made me more than that, but I reckon at some point I must have had a mom and a dad to have ever been a little toad wandering the world at all. I can't remember them, and I think maybe, family, when you get older, is something you choose, even if that means there's folks what raised you that you don't choose to be part of that family. And, well, I just want you to know that I'm with you all the way until the fire goes out. And because, y'all are my family now.
I saw something in you back then, and gosh, you called me smart the other night.
I think I've grown up. I think I've grown up a little bit.
I tell you what, you are a wise.
Oh, shucks. Well, I just observe things a lot. That's what I do. I just watch. Did a lot of watching when I was quiet. A lot of watching when I was a toad, too. So, anyways.
It's important. That's important.
Yeah. Boy, dadgum, it sure is a nice place to sleep, though.
Yeah, I think I need to turn off the old noggin for a second tonight. So,
Bye. You and me both.
Before you go to bed, remember to work on your letters.
Work on my letters. Right. Oh, yeah, the letters. Right. You see Bert pulls out a little book and begins.
Because when you can spell it out and you can read and you can write a little bit, I got a gift for you.
When you can spell and you can read out a gift. Okay, gotta learn that. And we close that. The last thing that I'm going to say before we end the session and the long rest in the Spirit House takes place. Fauna, you took with you Maury's book.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and this is your house. Nothing can enter here that you have not willingly brought. I'm going to ask, and you're going to do this with advantage. I'm going to ask you to make a wisdom saving throw.
$22.
On a 22. Did you take the book out or did you leave it in your pack?
I think after everything that happened, I feel like she probably kind of forgot it was even in there right now. So she probably would have just started to go to bed and it would just still be in her pack.
Cool. On a 22, you have a peaceful night's rest, as do the rest of the group.
Good.
And that is where we're going to end the session. Thanks everyone who hung out and watched, and we will see you again next week for Castle Run.
Friends, thank you. That's like 3 times in a row. you.